Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I can't believe it. I haven't done an RC car in a long time. I recently did one just a few weeks ago, and before that it had been, I don't know, probably over a year. And now I'm going to do a couple of them in pretty short succession, the one you just saw and the one that I'm bringing you today. Now I've previewed this on some of the internet live shows. I've shown a picture of the box and I'm really fascinated by this guy. The folks at MJX sent me their RC car. Hyper Go, I guess, is the model number of it, but the thing that intrigues me is this little GPS on here. What are they using GPS for? Well, we're going to find out. Let's quit messing around. Let's get this guy out of the box. Okay, the MJX RC Technic Hyper Go 1/16 scale, four-wheel drive, high-speed off-road Turk or truck, I think they mean to say, with GPS. Let's get this guy out of the box. Okay, there we go. First thing that falls out of the box is the user manual, so that's kind of handy. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, it shows us how the transmitter works. Shows us all the basics of the car, and evidently there's a few things that you need to install on this guy. So we'll look this over in more detail. There's the battery. Shows how to take the top off of the truck and install the shell, and the phone connection, which I can't wait to see what that's all about. So let's pull this off and we should get a good look at the car here. And there it is, very simple. Yeah, so wow, a couple things I see right off the bat. There are pull tags on here for pulling the hitch pins off that hold the body on there. That is handy as heck, and I always like these where they have the little roll bar on there. So let's tip it up on its side here, and there it is, Hyper Go. Good looking body on this thing, and you know, nice looking semi-pneumatic wheels. And it looks like, yeah, this is a wheelie bar that we're going to have to attach some wheels to. So we'll take a look at the suspension once we get the body off of it. But yeah, on the front here, yeah, it says Hyper Go. Kind of an interesting looking grill there, and I don't know, yeah, that looks like it could be a light. I guess we'll find out when we get the darn thing going. There's the bottom of the car. That feels like, yeah, that's definitely plastic, but it feels pretty sturdy. Before we take the body off, let's see what else is in the box. Okay, so here's the controller itself, and you know, looks like pretty standard steering control right there, throttle right there. Let's take a look here. I'm sure it'll probably use AAA or AA batteries, and yeah, as usual, 3 AA batteries to power this guy. And then on the top here, it's a little bit hard to read, but this is to reverse the throttle. That's to reverse the steering. In other words, change which way this turns right and left, and it changes which way is forward and back by those switches right there. And you have throttle trim right there, and that is to adjust the throttle, I mean how quickly it gives you throttle. And then these other two are both steering trim. So one of them is to adjust the wheels straight so that the thing goes straight, and the other one is to adjust the angle of the wheels, how far they will turn right or left. Then these are the accessories that they include. So it looks like we're going to have to install the wing on the back of the car, and it includes the screws there. And then the wheelie bar, and it includes the screws for the wheelie bar that will go on the back of the car as well. And I presume you could run without those if you wanted to, but hey, I would think you'd probably want those on there. And then typical of most of these RC cars or drones or whatever, you get the screwdriver, and I'm sure that's for installing those accessories we just looked at. You got the USB-A to USB-C cable for charging, and you have a wheel nut wrench in the bag. Hey, okay guys, let's pull the body off. So I thought I was missing a clip, but I found it in the box, but just wanted to show you. I really like that they put this this little pull tab on these hitch pins. Pretty handy. And let's take a look underneath here. Aha, there we go. Hey, okay, now with the body off, we can look at the serious parts of this car. So here's the ESC with the antenna on it, and it looks like the servo motor for the steering is underneath that. Yeah, we can see that move right there when I turn the wheel. There is the GPS receiver, which is interesting. I got to tell you, I looked in these instructions, read them very carefully. It just tells you to download the app. It doesn't, I still do not know what that GPS does for us in the car, but I can tell you, you hook it Bluetooth to the controller here, to the controller, so it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait to get it out and get it in action and see what that does. And then of course you've got the battery plug here. Is that what you call a Dean's plug? I'm not a big enough RC car to know that, but I believe that's what that's called. And then anytime you see a fan over the top of the motor, you know it's serious. It's going to create some heat. Now, what I don't know is whether this is a brushed or brushless motor. I'm sure a lot of you RC guys are going to be able to tell just by looking at it. But I can tell you the whole thing looks pretty serious under here, so I'm encouraged. Let's turn around here and take a look at the battery. So you just turn that and you pull this clasp right here, and I like that it's on a hinge. You're not going to lose it. And then here is the battery, and yeah, that's where you hook it up right there. So you would just simply plug this in, and let's turn on the power here. Oh, and I just noticed there's the USB-C port to charge the battery. And by the way, you would use the USB cable, and they say to use a 2 amp charger, so similar to what you'd use for your cell phone, iPad, etc. They're saying 80 minutes to charge the battery, and they gave me just one battery, and I don't know what the runtime is, but let's push this, and I can see some LEDs on there. Yeah, so we got one little brief little light there, so it needs to be charged, but yeah, looking forward to trying that out. So again, this is just going to lay in there, and maybe, okay, there we go. So there's a piece of plastic right here that actually holds the battery and keeps it from moving forward. So then you would just turn that down and lock it into place. That's pretty handy. So yeah, let's take a look at the suspension now. And are these oil-filled shocks? I don't know. They look pretty serious, I can tell you that. And it looks like they have some adjustment there. So you RC guys are going to have to let me know if those are oil-filled or not. I do not see any plug or anything, so maybe they're just friction shocks. I can't tell for certain. But this definitely is an LED light because I can see wires hooked up to it, so I'm sure that'll light up as we get the car powered up. And yeah, I mean, it looks like it's all pretty heavy-duty drivetrain here. Metal half shafts and CV joints there on the ends, and then the same thing on the back. Wishbone suspension with, yeah, you got some pretty heavy-duty CV joints on both ends, just like you would in a car, in a full-size car, and metal half shafts. Now, whether the drive shaft itself, yeah, I can see it in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but the drive shaft itself looks metal as well. So, yeah, it looks like this is a pretty heavy-duty little car. So, can't wait to get it outside and give it a try. So the instructions don't explicitly show how the rear wing hook goes on here, but I can see these two holes, so I'm sure it just screws in right there. Okay, so it looks like this wheelie bar, these arms will screw in right here, and then this top part of it, I assume, is going to, where those two screws there are, and it will just fit on the back so that when you go up, you can ride a wheelie and ride it on the wheels on these little casters. So there's the wheelie bar, and it attaches with a screw there, a couple of screws there, so 4 screws to attach that wheelie bar, and then just 2 screws on top here to attach that wing. But gosh, I think it looks pretty darn good. Well, okay folks, there's only one thing left to do. Let's get this car out in the field and see how it does. And I'm going to download that app, and I'm anxious to see what the GPS is all about with this guy. Again, the GPS hooks to the Bluetooth to the controller. Oh, and I guess I didn't show you, they give you this little armband to hold, to put around your wrist, and supposedly you would put your mobile phone in there. I got to be honest with you, that doesn't look terribly comfortable to me, so I'm not sure that I'll do that, but we'll get it figured out. All right, let's quit messing around. Let's get this car out in the dirt. Hey, okay, I'm out in the field with the MJX Hyper Go RC car. Now, a couple things that I have noticed about this car in doing my doing some research. The shocks on the back, I don't know if I mentioned it before, these are just friction shocks, and they don't feel that great, so I don't expect a whole lot with regard to, or maybe they made them soft so that it would wheelie, you know, hence the wheelie bar. That's very possible, but these shocks on the back are pretty soft, and they don't have really any rebound damping that I can tell at all. So they're definitely just friction shocks. And then I happened to watch Half Chrome's review of their MJX Hyper Go, and they had a little different model. It's a different body style. And one of the big things that I noticed on theirs is instead of having the hitch pins to hold the body on, they just had a little clip here, or a little knob essentially, that they could lock the body on and lock it off. That's just an awesome idea. I wish that I had that on this one as well. Because one of the downsides is, to turn on the battery on this car, you have to take the body off. So in this case, it's all four of these hitch pins. Take the body off, plug in the battery, turn the battery on, and then you're ready to go. And then the same thing, when you're all done, you're gonna have to take all the hitch pins off, take the body off, unplug, shut off the battery, etc. So just, you know, just something to know there if you're trying to decide between this one and the other model. I think they're both attractive. I like the looks of this one. This one looks kind of like a pickup truck. But in any case, let's quit messing around. There's a lot of things here that we can do. I'm going to kind of swing the camera around so you can see some of the other area I'm at. This is where I fly drones out often at the park, and we've got a rocky area here. We've got kind of a swale there that we can run the car down into. But we're going to start off on pavement here, and I only have one battery, so whatever we can do with one battery is what we're going to do. So let's quit messing around. Let's fire this car up. Hey, okay, so I've got the app started, and you'll be able to see it on the screen here, and I see it's got miles an hour at the bottom, and it looks like a tachometer, although I'm not sure exactly what that'll show us. However, I think what it's going to do is it's going to track where the car goes, and it's going to also show us top speed. So it'll be interesting to watch this thing and see how it works. So in the meantime, first we're going to try and check this guy out and make sure we've got the steering trimmed okay. Okay, that was me accidentally hitting the throttle. So I can see already that the steering trim is going to, yeah, to the right. So we need to trim that up just a little bit. This one's going to be hard to trim. I'm just making very small moves on the steering trim, and it's, yeah, still going to the car's left. Yeah, that's a lot better. I'll tell you what, that steering trim is really sensitive. Okay, so let's bring it back to us here. And I'm holding this, my phone in my arm, so I'm gonna set it up. Yeah, this will work okay. So my iPhone's got a kickstand on it, so I was able to set it down. Now they do give you a little wrist strap. So we're gonna be easy here. But you know, that wrist strap looks like just kind of a pain to me, so maybe it might be useful, I don't know. And I'm not an RC car guy, so you're gonna have to excuse my clumsiness at the controls here, but let's give it full throttle here and see if we can tip it up on that wheelie bar. So right now, yeah, so no, none of that. And you know, I had the throttle trim turned down, so let's try another wheelie here. So right now, This thing's pretty quick. Okay, so it's got a button, this button on the side of the throttle here, or of the controller here. Supposedly, they call it the eject button if you look in the instructions. Supposedly that gives it full throttle, so I'm just gonna try that real quick and see what happens. Yeah, it does. That's full throttle. Wow. Yeah, so that eject button at the bottom, if you just want to give it full throttle, that's like an on-off switch, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, the only way there, go reverse, you can and then full throttle forward, you can get it to wheelie. Okay, I'm going to move the camera out here, and we're just going to run it around here on the pavement for a little bit and see how we do. Get a look at the GoPro to make sure we're good. Okay, let's just drive around here a little bit. Man, it's got power, I'll tell you that. Okay, so one of the things I did is I set my phone on the tire of my car so I can look over and see it and see what we get for speed-wise with this guy. So it's got a top speed indicator, and it showed 21 miles an hour there. So it's hard to look at that speedometer and drive the car at the same time. But that's the only way I could get it to wheelie is to reverse and then forward. And then sometimes not even then. So I can see that the only way you're going to make really good controlled turns is to let off the throttle a little bit. There, I spacked into a curb. Try to get it to wheelie. I did get it underneath my my truck there for a second. So what I'm telling you is maybe that little wrist strap thing is not a bad idea, because I really can't look at the at my phone and look at the app while I'm driving the car at the same time. So okay, let's see if I know that it will also track. So let's see if we can set the app up to track. So you can see on the app that I've got a pretty good kind of representation of where I'm at here in the park. And I believe that if I hit play here, yeah, it's started. So let's run the car around, and it should be able to track us. See if we can do a figure 8 here. As you can see, I'm not the most skilled with RC cars, if that isn't evident by now. Hey, but I'm doing a figure 8, so I'm pretty proud of that. And I can see that on the app right now in the map format. So that's kind of cool. So you can see where you go. Let's go out a little bit further, and we're out of camera range here, so you're not going to see it on camera, but you will be able to see it on the app. let's do a quick, and I just ran the car into the camera there. That's what that jerk was. Okay, so I'm going to do a high-speed run here, and I'm going to move the camera around. Let's do a full throttle run here, and we should be able to see what the top speed is. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Wow, that's your driver not being able to control the car. So let's try that again. It's got pretty good brakes on it, I'll say that. Well, so I'm looking at the map here, and I'm going to hit stop, and I believe, yeah, so it'll tell us our top speed, which was a maximum of 22 miles an hour, and we averaged 4 miles an hour, so that's kind of cool. So let's go back to the, yeah, so we're going to save that record. I'm going to hit confirm, and we're going to go back to the, I guess you'd call it the dashboard, and let me try this again. So I'm going to see if I can get it around to us. Hey, and I did. Okay, so I think we've kind of made our point here on the cement. Let's see what this guy will do off-road. Okay, so this is kind of a muddy, rocky area here, and I'm going to take it really easy at first here and just see how, and you can see I immediately ran into a rock. And yeah, I don't know, this guy probably isn't much of a rock crawler, although it's doing all right. So here I think is where you want to turn the steering all the way up. So I had the steering turned down when I was out. So if you're moving slower, yeah, that's when you're going to want to turn the steering up. And I'm already high centered. Hey, look at that, I got it out of there. Applying all the same rules that you would if you were driving a full-size vehicle. So this probably isn't all that exciting, but looks like we found a nice hole here though. That was kind of fun. Jumped out of that hole, right smack dab into a rock. Yeah, I think these rocks are probably a little bit too big for this guy, but let's see if we can yeah, make our way out here. What I'm finding is, you know, there just isn't enough low speed throttle control. So this is not a rock crawler. So really, this is probably not the best place to show this car. So I'm going to see if I can get it back here and steer it out of here. And look at that, we did. And let's go over to a different spot where I know we can probably have a little more fun with it. There's a swale over here that's pretty empty, and it's got some hills and some grass. So let's head that direction. Okay, so you can see this little swale here, and what a swale is it's just basically a drainage area for an overflow of water. And actually, I'm going to turn the camera just a little bit so you can see over at the left here. You can see there's a drain pipe going in, and if there was a big storm or something, this would fill up with water. But it looks like a good spot to run an RC car right now. Busy street right behind it, but let's go ahead and go here. And I have that steering still turned way up. And I think it's good that I do. That's pretty cool that it leaves a trail of dust down there. Yeah. So I'm going to keep it in pretty close here so you guys can see the action. Now that's fun. So what I don't know Yeah, I mean, it leaves that trail of dust. That's pretty darn cool. Spin a donuts there. See if we can do it the other direction. Yeah, it doesn't want to spin a donut the other direction. Whoa! We flipped her over. I'm gonna go do the walk of shame. Okay, I brought the camera down in here so you can get a much closer look, so. And then if I have to do the walk of shame, I won't have to walk so far. Well, we may have run out of battery already. Didn't seem like we ran it that far. It's not responding to commands, so either I'm out of range or out of battery. And I drove it further than that out there, so I'm gonna walk out there and see what's going on. So here it is. I can still hear the fan running in there, so I'm just gonna say that it got to a low battery point and shut down. So it's kind of dirty. We got it suitably dirty. That's what you're supposed to do with these cars. I guess I might as well turn off the controller here. But yeah, I mean, that was fun. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in the battery life. I thought it would go a little bit longer than that. However, I can say this, the car seems plenty powerful to me. And you know, the app is kind of fun. It's really a bit of a gimmick. And you know, I kind of set that wrist strap aside. Now I'm kind of regretting it, although I don't know if my phone would have fit in there, because you can't really drive the car and look at it at the same time. So, you know, there's limited usefulness there, but it does give you a speedometer. I think the maximum speed we saw was 22 miles an hour, which I thought was pretty good. Certainly not, you know, the hobby cars go a lot faster than that, but for, you know, I'm going to say this kind of car, I would say is kind of a quasi hobby grade, toy grade, right kind of in the middle there. But you know what? It works well, and I had a lot of fun with it. I wish I had more batteries so I could mess around with it some more in this Swale. Anyway, and again, I wish we had a little bit more battery life as well. But, you know, it didn't do too bad. And, you know, it works well. So I have yet to see MJX post a price for this. As a matter of fact, I have yet to see MJX advertise this product anywhere. If I can find that, and I'm going to talk to the folks at MJX, I will post it in a link down below. And if there's any discount codes, I'll post those. If I have an affiliate link, I'll do that. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with this guy, the MJX Hyper Go RC car. This is kind of the pickup truck version. I saw Half Chrome had more of a kind of a off-road truck version, and so there's a couple different versions of the thing, but it was a lot of fun, and it was, you know, pretty powerful, and yeah, just a lot of fun to mess around with. So I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video, and I will see you on the next one. And yeah, I've done a few RC cars now, so we probably won't do any more RC cars anytime soon, but in any case, it's kind of fun to do something different, and it's pretty cool that MJX did what they did with this car and put that GPS on there. So, all right, see you guys later. Bye.